Namaste, Shravan. A very good morning to you all. Myself, Dr. Ravi, Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, JAYOTI VIDYAPEETH University. Today, I will continue with the personality disorders. This will be the second session of personality disorders. In the previous session, we have discussed about various eating disorders, which include anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa. In today's lecture, we will be discussing about the further personality disorders, the introduction which we discussed in the previous lecture. So let's continue with the personality disorders session 2. So in today's session, we will be discussing about various somatoform disorders. Somato means pertaining to the body or pertaining to the physical symptoms. So what are the somatoform disorders? In the previous lecture, we have discussed about what is personality disorders, what are basically personality disorders, and how they affect that particular individual and the people around him in the society. So there are various somatoform disorders. These are the disorders of somatic systems which are not explained by the medical condition. So the somatoform disorders cannot be explained on the basis of medical condition and are not better diagnosed as part of depressive or anxiety disorders. So these are not diagnosed as a part of depressive or anxiety disorder. These cannot be explained on the basis of medical condition of the individual. Now, what is the etiology? It is incompletely understood. So the etiology or the causative factor of somatoform disorders in the personality disorder is incompletely understood, but it is contributory factors include depression and anxiety. So depression and anxiety contributes to the somatoform disorders of a particular individual. A family history or previous history of a particular disease condition. There can be a family history or previous history of a particular disease condition that shape the patient beliefs about the illness. So there is always a history of such kind of symptoms in the history of the family of the patient, due to which he has developed a particular belief. The doctors exacerbate the problem either by dismissing the complaints. So whenever such patients are coming to the physician usually dismisses the complaints of the patient, saying these are normal things, this is not something specific. Now, the classification includes somatization disorders. There are various hypochondriacal disorders, body dysmorphic disorders, somatoform autonomic dysfunctions, somatoform pain disorders, Neurasthenia, which includes chronic fatigue syndrome, which we are going to discuss in great detail, and dissociative conversion disorders. So we are going to discuss briefly about all these disorders which are combined known as somatoform disorders. What are these? Somatization disorder, hypochondriac disorder, body dysmorphic disorder, somatoform autonomic dysfunction, somatoform pain disorder, Neurasthenia, which is chronic fatigue syndrome, and dissociative or conversion disorder. Now, what is somatization disorder? Somatization disorder is characterized by the occurrence of chronic multiple symptoms. There are chronic multiple symptoms for which there is no physical cause. So there are a lot of symptoms in the patient without any physical cause. The symptoms start in the early adult life. So the symptoms start in the patient in the early adult life and may be referred to any part of the body. So these may be referred to any part of the body. It is much more common in women. The common complaints of the somatization disorders include pain, vomiting, nausea. There is pain, there is vomiting, there is nausea. There are great headaches and dizziness. There can be menstrual irregularities and sexual dysfunction. So the common complaints are pain, vomiting, nausea. There is headache, dizziness, menstrual irregularities, and sexual dysfunction. The patient may undergo multitude of negative investigations and unhelpful operations. So for these, the patient can undergo n number of investigations and many operations without any relief in the symptoms. Now, the second one is the hypochondriacal disorders, in which the patient has a strong fear or belief that he is having a serious and very fatal disease. So if he is having certain symptoms and he believes that he is having certain serious and not very fatal disease that persists despite of appropriate medical reassurance. He undergoes various treatments, he undergoes various tests, and which assures him that he is not having any serious disorder, but still there is a belief in his mind that yes, he is suffering from a great disorder, that is hypochondriacal disorder. For the treatment, we have to give antipsychotic medications and cognitive and behavioral. Body dysmorphic disorder. This is another important disorder in which the patient believes that their body is disfigured in some or the other way. And for that, he is undergoing various kinds of cosmetic surgeries. People with this condition make inappropriate requests for the cosmetic surgery. The treatment includes cognitive behavioral therapy and antipsychotic medications. Somatoform autonomic dysfunctions. These are somatic symptoms which are referred to the bodily organs. These are largely under the control of autonomic nervous system, which includes cardiac neurosis, psychogenic hyperventilation, and psychogenic vomiting. Somatoform autonomic dysfunction में क्या होता है? There is autonomic dysfunctions of certain organs, like which are largely under the control of autonomic nervous system. That's why the name given, somatoform autonomic dysfunction, like cardiac neurosis, psychogenic hyperventilation, and psychogenic vomiting. Another disorder is somatoform pain disorders. So, what are somatoform pain disorders? These are the disorders with severe and persistent pain. There is severe pain and constant persistent pain, which cannot be explained by any medical condition. So, the patient comes to you with pain, and you undergo various tests and cannot find out the answer to the pain. That is known as somatoform pain disorder. The treatment includes cognitive behavioral therapy, mental disability, pain management. Chronic fatigue syndrome or the neurasthenia we have discussed in very detail when we have lecture to this condition. So we are going to discuss in very brief in this lecture. It is characterized by excessive fatigue. So the patient is always fatigued. He remains in the constant state of fatigue after minimal physical or mental exertion. Even with minimal physical or mental exertion, the patient remains in the state of fatigue, and there is poor concentration. He cannot concentrate on various things. There is dizziness and muscle aches, and there are different kinds of sleeping disturbances. The symptoms overlap those of depression and anxiety. So the symptoms of depression and anxiety overlaps the symptoms of chronic condition. The treatment includes graded exercise and cognitive behavioral therapy, which we have discussed. Now, another disorder is the dissociative or conversion disorder. So what is dissociative or conversion disorder? Dissociative or conversion disorder is characterized by the loss or distortion of neurological functions. So there are various kinds of losses of or distortion of the neurological functions, which cannot be explained by the organic disease. So there are various loss of functions in the organ or the body of the patient, which cannot be explained on the basis of organic disease. So the most common symptom mimic lesions in the motor or sensory nervous system. Symptoms they mimic the various kind of lesions in the motor and sensory nervous system. There can be dissociative disorders, which involves psychological functions, especially of the memory and general intelligence. There are dissociative disorders which involve psychological functions, especially memory and general intelligence. The exact etiology of dissociative conversion disorder is unknown. There is an association with adverse childhood experiences, especially the physical and sexual abuse. The symptoms include gait disturbances. So the symptoms are gait disturbances. There is difficulty in walking. There are loss of function in the limbs. There can be aphonia, that is loss of voice, non-epileptic seizures. The patient can have non-epileptic seizures, and sensory loss and blindness. It is treated with cognitive behavioral therapy and antidepressant drugs. Now, what is the general management of the patient? The general management of the patient in cases of somatoform disorders includes unexplained symptoms, includes reassurance. You have to reassure the patient that you are suffering from such and such disease, and you don't have to worry about it. You have to give the explanation to the patient of the particular disease, and have to give the advice what should be done, what he has to take, what are the medication, what are the exercises that he has to do. You have to advise the drug treatment that has to be followed, and psychological treatment, the mind symptoms, the anxiety, depression that has to be managed. Again, rehabilitation has to be done. This is the most important task to rehabilitation with pain and all. The shared cases with general practitioner. He has to share the case with the general practitioner. Now, another disorder is factitious disorder and malingering. So, this is another important aspect of the personality disorder when the patient is not having a particular disease, but he malingers, or he fakes that he is having a particular disease. So factitious disorders, there are various kind of factitious disorders like repeated and deliberate production of signs and symptoms of the disease. Factitious means repeated or deliberate production of signs and symptoms of the disease, apparently to obtain medical care. So the patient is deliberately and repeatedly producing certain signs and symptoms to gain the attention of the doctor and to gain medical relief. The presence in young women who work in paramedical patient populations. Does the particular patient know about the intensity of the particular symptom? These are usually medical but may be related to psychiatric illness, with reports of hallucinations and depressive illnesses. Now, Mokan-Hassan syndrome. This is another important syndrome, Mokan-Hassan syndrome. What is it? There is severe chronic form of factitious disorder. So, this is also feeding on malingering. It usually occurs in male of old age with a solitary and peripatetic lifestyle who is living alone, and in such conditions, such people, this syndrome is very common. The patient travels widely, visiting several hospitals in a day to obtain medical care. So he is visiting again and again in the different hospitals to obtain medical care. The history can be convincing enough to persuade doctors to undertake investigation and initiate treatment. So he gives such a convincing history of the symptoms that it persuades the doctors to initiate treatment and to undertake this investigation, including exploratory surgery. They present similar elsewhere, often changing the name several times. So they go to different hospitals with same complaints, with changing the name so that they can get attention, they can get investigation done, and they can get the surgery done. The management may form confrontation with clear evidence of fabrication of illness and psychological support. Now, malingering. What is malingering? Malingering is a behavior and not a psychiatric disorder. Malingering is a true word. It refers to the conscious stimulation of signs and symptoms in disability. तो यहाँ पे patient क्या करता है? Conscious simulation of signs and symptoms. He is not suffering from any kind of disease, but he shows that he is having particular symptoms of that particular disease. The motives are clear to the patient, but they conceal it from the doctors. The motives can be avoidance of burdensome responsibilities or pursuit of financial gain. So he feigns his and he try to prove the other individual that he's having certain disease, that he's having fever, he's having pain in the abdomen, he's having a headache, so he cannot do a particular job and to gain any financial gain. The malingering is hard to detect at clinical assessment, but suggested an inconsistency in the history. So, with the inconsistent history, you can clearly assess that the patient is malingering. Now, there are various puerperal disorders which are related to the pregnancy. 3 common psychiatric complications of childbirth: post-partum blues, postpartum depressions, and puerperal psychosis. What are these? Postpartum blues, postpartum depression, and puerperal psychosis. We'll discuss one by one. Postpartum blues includes they begin soon after the childbirth. As soon as the child is born, it is characterized by irritability and labile mood and fearfulness. So the lady becomes very much irritable. That is postpartum blues. She becomes labile mood and tearful. The symptoms speak about the 44th day and then resolve. There is no treatment as required because it is self-limiting and reassurance to the mother is given. Postpartum depression. It occurs in 10 to 15% of the women. It is common with a previous history of depression. The explanation and reassurance is the most important task. Psychological and drug treatment for depression should be considered. Hospital admission to the mother and baby unit. And the last one is puerperal psychosis. Its onset in the first 2 weeks after childbirth. There are serious complication forms of a male called depressive psychosis. The schizophrenic psychosis can also occur. The management depends on the type of psychosis, which psychosis she is having. It is most important to consider the baby, and especially to establish whether the mother has ideas of harming the baby or not. Admission to the psychiatric mother and baby is essential. Psychosis we know is a very severe condition. So this was all for today. In the next lecture, we will be discussing about dementia. This session was powered by digital version 2.0 JAYOTI VIDYAPEETH University. I hope you are satisfied with the digital session. If you have any query, please mention it in the comment box and try to solve. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet tomorrow in the next lecture.